Welcome to this webinar on climate change and health. Communication matters. I'm Rajiv Tikko, your host. This webinar is being organized by the Voices of Bharat Yuva for Sustainability Initiative for its internship program. I will have with me on the show Nana Gautam, who is the editor of Sustainability Karma podcasts on All India Radio. May I invite Nana to join in and talk about the internship program as well as a few words about herself. Welcome, Nana.
I am Naina Gautam, a journalist, editor, and a storyteller. I'm deeply passionate about sustainability, climate action, and how powerful communication can drive change because it's all about communicating in the right language. Over the years, I have worked with Outlook. I have with Outlook Business. I have set up the Outlook Planet, which is about sustainability. I have written for special editions, curated them for organizations like United Nations, particularly UNFPA. Then I have also contributed to a book on sanitation, which was released at G20. I'm an alumni of King's College London and the London School of Journalism, trained with AFP, Google News Initiative, and Reuters. And I received global fellowships from TEDxU and TERI. What is the UA Sustainability Internship all about? That's what you must be wondering throughout, before enrolling, after enrolling, and everything. So this internship is a call to action. Our goal is to mainstream sustainability, make it appear on the first page. It is about communication and building a new generation of climate storytellers, which is very much needed given the circumstances we are living in. So through a series of webinars, masterclasses, workshops, and conferences, we will not only learn from the best, we will also help you create, and you will have to create an assignment after every webinar or activity we do with you. You will produce 2 content pieces. You can choose different formats: reels, shorts, videos, podcasts, or website stories. These are digital stories which will go on the UA Sustainability website. It's hands-on experience, it's collaborative, it's not like you have to do it on your own. We'll help you wherever you need help. We are always there to help you, and we are here to build your skills. And it's rooted in real world impact. So that's the core of it. So now everybody must be thinking, what is in it for you? Because that's why we enroll or do something. So I would say first thing is learning from industry leaders and practitioners, the lead ones. Networking with a diverse, passionate community, because tomorrow you're going to take a job and you need to have green skills because sustainability is the future. Now it has become a mandate to meet the net zero and everything else. You will get certificates for each phase of completion. You will need them someday when you start. You will get awards if you do exceptional work. And most importantly, contributing to a national cause. And yes, I forgot about the opportunity to be a UA Sustainability Ambassador. So that is it. And if you ever felt that sustainability needs better stories and better storytellers, you have already halfway there. Let me assure you, by joining this webinar, by enrolling into the internship. This internship is your platform. Let's turn our voices into action and our stories into change. Let's begin our journey and let's get into the internship with full passion and questions and ideas and everything that comes to your mind. Over to you, Rajiv.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think you covered most of things, and I'm sure interns would have lots of questions about the internship itself, apart from the topic of the internship today. So we'll come to that a bit later. And so I'll request Kalyan Singh Kothari ji to deliver a welcome address, and then we can move on to our other esteemed panelists who already joined. Kothari Saab has been our actually leading light, and he's the source of inspiration for this. he is the one who has really inspired us to take this up. He is the co-convener of Voices of Bharat Yuva for Sustainability, which is organizing this webinar. Accredited with the government of Pakistan, he is attached as a media consultant with the UN bodies as well as a number of civil society organizations. As the secretary of Lok Samvad Sansthan for the last 20 years, Kothari sir has been engaged in research and advocacy on media and health particularly. He is also engaged in generating public awareness and creating a moral force in the society to stand by youth and empower them through media advocacy. Welcome, Kothari sir. Please deliver your welcome address.
नमस्कार, आज मैं आपके सामने वॉइसेस ऑफ भारत युवा फॉर सस्टेनेबिलिटी पहल के बारे में साझा करते हुए गर्व महसूस करता हूँ। हम लोगों ने यह पहल 5 जून 2025 विश्व पर्यावरण दिवस पर राजस्थान के माननीय मुख्यमंत्री भजनलाल शर्मा द्वारा करवाई थी। इसे वन, पर्यावरण, जलवायु परिवर्तन मंत्री संजय शर्मा जी और महिला व बाल विकास मंत्री डॉक्टर मंजू बागमार का भी समर्थन प्राप्त है। इस पहल को लोक संवाद संस्थान और सस्टेनेबिलिटी कर्मा ने मिलकर कई उपकुलपतियों के मार्गदर्शन और 20 से अधिक विश्वविद्यालयों व कॉलेज के सहयोग से शुरू किया है। इसका मकसद है 18 से 29 वर्ष के युवाओं को सस्टेनेबिलिटी चैंपियंस के रूप में तैयार करना। हम 500 से अधिक युवाओं को सस्टेनेबिलिटी स्टोरी टेलिंग की ट्रेनिंग देंगे ताकि वे देश भर में 1 करोड़ से अधिक लोगों तक पर्यावरण, जलवायु परिवर्तन का संदेश पहुंचा सकें, जागरूकता फैला सकें और व्यवहार में बदलाव ला सकें। युवाओं को राज्य, राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर पर्यावरण नीतियों और योजनाओं की जानकारी दी जाएगी। वे बहुभाषी पॉडकास्ट, वीडियो रील्स और लेख स्टोरीज बनाएंगे जिन्हें डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म और सोशल मीडिया के जरिए देश के कोने कोने में पहुंचाने का प्रयास करेंगे। पूरे प्रोजेक्ट के दौरान उन्हें मीडिया और सस्टेनेबिलिटी विशेषज्ञों से वर्चुअल मेंटरशिप मिलेगी। साल के बीच में रिफ्रेशर वर्कशॉप होगी जिसमें प्रगति का मूल्यांकन और सुधार के सुझाव दिए जाएंगे। उत्कृष्ट प्रतिभागियों को अपने पॉडकास्ट और ऑल इंडिया रेडियो और कम्युनिटी रेडियो पर प्रसारित करने का अवसर मिलेगा। युवाओं के लिए इसमें 2 बड़े मौके हैं। युवा सस्टेनेबिलिटी चैंपियन अवार्ड्स 2025 रचनात्मक यूट्यूब शॉर्ट्स बनाकर नकद पुरस्कार जीतने का मौका और दूसरा ऑनलाइन सस्टेनेबिलिटी इंटर्नशिप 2025 लाइव प्रोजेक्ट पर काम करने का और डिजिटल कंटेंट के जरिए जन जागरण फैलाने का अवसर। 21 जुलाई 2025 को हमने जयपुर में पहला राज्य स्तरीय युवा सस्टेनेबिलिटी सम्मेलन सफलतापूर्वक संपन्न किया। अब हम इसे राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर ले जाने के लिए राष्ट्रीय युवा सस्टेनेबिलिटी सम्मेलन आयोजित करने का प्लान बना रहे हैं। मैं आप सभी से आग्रह करता हूं, आइए इस अभियान का हिस्सा बने, युवाओं को सशक्त करें और मिलकर ऐसा भारत गढ़ें जो पर्यावरण के प्रति सजग, जिम्मेवार और सतत विकास की राह पर अग्रसर हो। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Kothari sir, for summing up where we come from. It's very helpful to know this, and I'm really thankful to you for leading this initiative. And in the meantime, I'm delighted to welcome our eminent panelists. We have Dr. Mohsin Wali with us already, who has been kind enough to join already, and lots of interns who have joined in. Thanks a lot for joining in. And in the meantime, while others join in, I'm delighted to welcome Professor Sudhir Rajiv, who is the Vice Chancellor of Hridev Joshi University of Journalism and Mass Communication, Jaipur, to deliver her special address. Professor Sudhir Rajiv has also held additional charge of the Vice Chancellor of Jagat Guru Ramanandacharya Rajasthan Sanskrit University and also Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Law University, Jaipur from time to time. One of the foremost academicians in the country, Professor Sudhir Rajiv has been at the forefront of English literature and communications education in the country, having a teaching experience of more than 4 decades. She is among the very few Fulbright scholars in the country who have got the scholarship twice actually. That's a very rare distinction. Apart from her academic contribution, she is also a pattern of art, music, poetry and dramatics, and these are areas which we neglect when we introduce ourselves, because that is what makes us a complete person. Thanks a lot for joining in, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me on this webinar. Greetings to all who are present here. It's a real pleasure to speak to all of you, esteemed experts and youth storytellers who are using your voices to shape a more sustainable future. Today's webinar, Climate Change and Health, Communication Matters, is very close to my heart because I come from the University of Communication and even English teaches us communication. I'm so happy that it brings us together at a powerful intersection where climate, health, and communication meet. We often hear about melting ice caps, rising sea levels, or extreme weather. But what's sometimes overlooked is how deeply climate change affects our health, our bodies, our minds, and our communities. Rising temperatures are leading to more heat related illnesses and deaths. Air pollution is worsening asthma and other respiratory conditions. Vector borne diseases like malaria and dengue are expanding into new areas. And let's not forget the toll on our mental health, eco anxiety, stress from displacement, and trauma from natural disasters are all on the rise. But here's something which is not much talked about. The healthcare sector itself is a major contributor to the problem. It's responsible for a significant share of global emissions and medical waste. This is why communication matters because science is clear, but knowledge alone doesn't drive change. Stories do. And that's where you, the young people, come in. As youth sustainability storytellers, you have the power to turn complex data into compelling digital content, into reels, videos, podcasts, short stories that resonate with real people's lives. You can highlight how climate change affects our health in everyday lives and how climate action can protect our well being, our families, and our futures. Through storytelling, we can shift the narrative from fear to action. From this is too big to here's what I can do. So today, I invite you to listen closely. Ask big questions and imagine how your voice can help connect the dots for others. Use the tools you have, not just to inform, but to ignite, to inspire, not just to raise awareness, but to spark action. Because the climate crisis is also a health crisis, and your story can be the spark that changes everything. You, the young ones, the voices of Bharat, will carry the message emanating from this event. And therefore, all of you need my special gratitude. Not only will this event underscore the need for focusing on what is crucial for human survival and sustainability, but also ushering in a phase of a just society which is compassionate to those on the margins, like women, children, the aged, and the low income communities who are affected by the health impacts of climate change. They lack access to resources and infrastructure to cope with climate related health impacts. So, telling the stories about climate action, you offer a guide for people who want to help fight against climate change. When you go the extra mile to tell your stories, you get results by opening up data to the public. You can use images and videos and find a human angle, and that will make the stories different. So, friends, here is the time for you to join the Voices of Bharat. I compliment the Voices of Bharat, Yuva for Sustainability, for inviting a highly respected panel of speakers from diverse fields to conduct this webinar. I urge you to make the most of this opportunity, because climate change and health, they will change only with communication. Thank you. Thank you very much. And all the best for the webinar.
Professor Sudhi Rajiv for that inspiring address. Now I'm delighted to again welcome our eminent panelists. We have with us Dr. Mohsin Wali, we have with us Urvashi Prasad ji, we have with us Kishore Malviya ji, Rajiv Chibbar ji. Zarin Osho will be joining in a while because she has to join from the US and there's a bit of a time zone issue there. So we'll be looking forward to have us join us. And let me briefly introduce Dr. Mohsin Wali. Dr. Mohsin Wali is a Padma Shri and he has been a former consultant physician to 3 presidents of India and 1 Prime Minister of India, which is a unique distinction and unlikely to be surpassed by anybody else in the future also. Currently, he is a consulting physician at Sri Gangaram Hospital and he has been a former physician at CGHS and RML Hospital. These are the 2 of the leading healthcare facilities in India and in Delhi also. Besides, he has been a patron of Medical Tourism Development Alliance, chairman of NRI Institute, director of Bharat Nirman, patron of Husna Ara Trust, member Indian Red Cross, founder president National Trust for Hypertension Stroke, and the list goes on. Urvashi Prasad ji is a public health and policy advisor with over 15 years of leadership experience across government, academia, and grassroots innovation. She is probably one of the most visible public health voices in the country. As director in the office of vice chairperson at Niti Aayog, India's apex policy think tank, she helped shape the country's COVID-19 response strategy, monitor sustainable development goals in real time, and spearhead national programs advancing public health, gender equity, and also social inclusion. COVID-19 and communication is a huge chapter in India's medical history. Probably will know more from her, and some of their friends who have joined here may have been too young at this stage, but I'm sure they would remember the kind of challenging times we had, and communication was a big issue, positively as well as negatively in those times. And most importantly, she is one of the few people who has put lung cancer particularly made it visible actually. She challenged the invisibility in cancer discourse, having first-hand experience of this dreaded disease, and she has driven recognition of under-researched malignancies in young adults. There's a very unique kind of a perspective she brings to any discourse and discussion, and there's lots to learn from her here. Welcome Urvashi Prasad ji to this webinar. She also holds a master's degree in public health from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, an MPhil in Bioscience Enterprise from Cambridge University, and a bachelor's in Biological Sciences from the University of Birmingham. Besides, she has also received an honorary doctorate for her work in public health and policy. We're really glad to have her on board. Then we have with us Kishore Kumar Malviya ji. He's a visiting professor at Medical Studies, Gurugram University. He has worked for 3 decades in print, broadcast, and digital media in India and abroad. Navbharat Times, Zee News, Nepal One Channel, India, Doordarshan. You name a media house, and Kishore Malviya has been there. Thank you, Kishore ji, for joining us. It's very kind of you to join us. Kishore Malviya ji has also written lyrics for a Bhojpuri film. So those are the kind of areas we need to look at actually going forward. And one of the interns is already writing a book here who has joined in here. Thanks a lot, Kishore ji, for joining us. And then we have Dr. Rajiv Chibbar. Well, Rajiv Chibbar wears multiple hats. He's a senior corporate affairs, public policy, communications, international development strategist with experience across several industries: pharma, medical devices, climate change, energy, and sustainable development. He's the right fit for this kind of a webinar actually. And I'm sure there's lots to hear from him. Currently, he is the Vice President, External Affairs, Sahajanand Medical Technologies. He has got a doctorate in public health communication and policy from Aztec University, Mexico, a master's in journalism and mass communication, bachelor's in English literature from Delhi University. So he combines all the required things for our future sustainability champions. Besides, of course, he's a member of a whole lot of committees, Sarkari committees, non-Sarkaris, and I wouldn't really go through the whole list, but 3 of them I find really interesting for this webinar particularly. He's a member of Asia Pacific Association of Communication Directors, Hong Kong. He's founding member of Public Relations Society of India. He's also on the advisory board of Climate Action Network South Asia, CANSA, and he's also on the governing council of South Asia for the National Council of News and Broadcasting. Those are very important kind of hats he's wearing, which bring lots of value to the kind of conversation we'll be having with him. So, Dr. Wali, if you could begin with you to set the context of this webinar. Sir, what are the challenges faced by healthcare professionals in communicating effectively the impact of climate change in healthcare? We find really there's a bit of a communication challenge generally, which people on this side find. I don't know whether doctors too find that. So we'd like to hear it from you, sir.
First of all, thank you very much, Rajiv ji, for taking initiative, first initiative of this kind, I would say, if I'm not wrong, and with the efforts of Naina ji and Kishore Malviya ji, and guided by senior people like Kalyan Kothari ji, and backed by the wisdom of Urvashi ji and other members. And this is amazing. As a health experts, we have, like you are wanting to achieve net zero in emission, and very little time, if at all, in preventive and social medicine is spent when we are very young, when we don't understand what is sustainability, what is climate, and things like that. We don't understand at that time. So this is very delicate issue. This is very important issue. And this is now impacting human health to the extent that lots and lots of cases are coming to us which are affected by environment, the diseases which are increasing, the heat waves, the floods and storms, wildfire, another new phenomena, food and water security, water scarcity at the same time, infectious diseases which have again triggered, like you were talking about COVID, waterborne diseases because of lack of sanitation, air pollution, which is a burning issue today and tomorrow, health impacts of these on the mental health, very important, post-COVID also, and that psychological trauma day to day our population is facing, and the increased demand and pressure on the healthcare systems is all summed up in what you are going to talk. And this is a very, very important aspect of medical education, which I think it should be incorporated in detail very soon, so that the India of tomorrow, which is your target, 18 to 29 years youngsters, should learn how to cope with this. To combat pollution is very important, and how we can do it, we can probably do it, but how we can do it, this we have to explore by the information percolated by people like you, groups like you, and the targeting of the younger generation is very important at the same time, because these are the people who make India of tomorrow. So, as you have asked, healthcare is very important part of this project, because every breath we take, if a bad air goes, whatever we are drinking, I have changed my bottle into glass bottle. Till yesterday I was using plastic bottle. Only today I brought this glass. Microplastics injury, Teflon injury. So these are the minor things which have major impacts on our health. Human health is not very good in our country. We have lots of problems which can be preventable and which can be prevented, and we have to learn through the environment and sustainability background. So this is very important. I congratulate you for organizing this seminar or webinar, and you have more learned speakers than me. I have spent my whole life in treating patients, not learning about these things. But when I see the patients, I feel sorry. A young boy of 23 years coming as a heart attack patient, when we talk about these Panchamrit plants and all these, and relate this webinar to recent tragedy of Uttarakhand. We are trying to develop that area at the cost of biodiversity nature, sustainability, and there has to be very important discussion before we proceed. It is a thing which we can avoid. And how would you sum up the impact of climate change in health? This was one of those your questions. So I am summing up that very important issues are being not seriously taken. You know, there are rules actually. I'll give you example. Environmental impact assessment, EIA. Like we have a green tribunal, we have this rule to manage what is being done in the hill areas. There was only one such smaller accident at Kedarnath in 2013, and this 2025 is much bigger. So all these things which are happening, these are eye openers, and there are people who have sacrificed their life for stopping deforestation, for the health of our beloved river Ganga, and for the health of nation, therefore, and this is not being done. As far as health is concerned, I can talk about cancers, I can talk about lung cancer is increasing, I can say due to plastics many cancers are increasing, I can say diabetes is increasing. It's all environmental. I can say high blood pressure is increasing, I can say stress is increasing, or I can say even obesity is related to environmental factors. So all these big giants which are preventable, if our youngsters focus on the areas which we are going to discuss with experts, we need a little bit of change in our thinking, our getting up in the morning, our sleeping time, our reducing our screen time. These are all points to be noted by the youngsters. हम लोग तख्ती पे लिखते थे, अब तख्ती नहीं होती. सदा सच बोलो, सुबह सवेरे उठो, माँ बाप का आदर करो, समय पर खाना खाओ. ये चीजें इसलिए लिखवाई जाती थी कि हमारी लाइफ के लिए ये इम्पोर्टेंट होती थी. आज हम इनको भूल गए हैं. We have forgotten the lessons learned in our childhood. So we are suffering. और अभी तो अजीब अजीब चीजें हो रही हैं. कल मैं देख रहा था a young boy who worked very hard. I have also worked very hard. I am 72, but I do exercise every day. I find time after my clinic. I spare 1 hour to do exercise every day. Even I am tired, totally drained, but exercise gives me energy back. So if you redistribute your time, make your proper timetable. And I was mentioning something about a young boy who worked very hard, who did double MBA, who was appointed at a very good company, whose salary kept on increasing till 90,000 a month. And at the age of 30, he goes to doctor with a heart disease. So he must have done something extra, and he must have missed something. Summing up that our environmental achievements, saving the environment, and I was telling you before we started that Greta Thunberg was a young girl and she has grown into a mature lady now, and like that you have to sustain your efforts. So 18 to 29 is just to include you but not to exclude you. So all youngsters which are listening my talk, they should get motivated and they should start good habits, good eating, good sleeping. Be good to others. This is spiritual aspect is very important for environmental love. If you are good to each other, you can be good to plants, you can be good to animals.
Thanks a lot for taking this conversation from environmental health to environmental love. That's a huge gamut you covered, and I'm sure there are lots of story ideas which our participants would have got here, right from microplastics to your environmental law kind of an angle. So I'm sure we'll come back to you in a while. Thanks a lot for your opening remarks. I'll move quickly to Urushi ji. Urushi ji, we just need to quickly get a sense of, there's lots of communication is happening, and we'll come back to on the COVID episode particularly because that's something which is a separate kind of an issue altogether. Do policy issues deserve to be treated differently than any other issues, health issues we talk about generally, health related issues? Is there some bit of different kind of treatment they deserve in communication while creating digital content?
I mean, obviously, because, various reasons. One, health is a technical subject. So it is not easy for anyone and everyone to understand this subject. And most people, if we look at the health literacy in our country, it's still pretty poor, because most people only think about health when they or a loved one falls sick. Till then, we take health for granted for the most part. So, in this kind of a situation, obviously, communication has to be very accurate, it has to be very to the point, and it also has to dispel, a lot of myths and misconceptions that people have with respect to health. These days, now with digital tools available, while on the one hand it is a positive, on the other hand there is a downside also, because anyone and everybody is giving advice on health, on nutrition, on how much you should sleep, how much sunlight you should get, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat. So everybody has become a health expert now, and especially during the pandemic also we saw this. Everybody was giving their home remedies and recipes, and so there is a danger of that as well, because if we start listening to anyone and everyone on the internet, we could be in a lot of trouble. So it's very important when you look at policies, when you look at government, when you look at official communications. Even during COVID, we were telling people that please only listen to official communications, don't listen to everybody on social media. So I think that is something that remains a challenge. And in today's interconnected world, digitally connected world, there is a lot of misinformation going around. So I think there we need to improve our health literacy so that the population is in a position to better judge what information from which source should they consume. Is why health education, health literacy has to be taken up, but that can only be taken up if we have enough public health people in the country, which we don't have at all. We have very few public health people. Most people don't even know what is public health. They think public health is the same as medicine, which is not true, because medicine has its own role, and public health, the role is of creating this kind of health education, this health literacy, getting the right information to people at the right time. So until and unless we invest in creating a robust public health workforce, it will be very difficult to create this large scale awareness that we all keep talking about.
A lot for giving that kind of a perspective on health, particularly public health, and also as the policy issues, the kind of treatment they need. I'll come back to you in a while. And in the meantime, I'm delighted to welcome Zareen Osho, who has joined us from the US despite the time zone difference. Thanks, Zareen, for joining us. A brief introduction about Zareen. Zareen is Director India Program at Institute for Governance and Sustainable Development. She focuses on fast mitigation strategies and sustainable development in climate vulnerable states. She has been there for more than a decade, and previously she has worked with the International Solar Alliance, which is an international body headquartered in India, one of the two bodies in India actually. And she has been also special advisor to the ED of United Nations Environment Program, which is quite a influential kind of a role she has played. Trained as a lawyer with a master's in international law, she brings extensive experience in climate projects across multiple countries. That's the kind of perspective which is very helpful, and she has been very vocal in India media for quite some time on climate-related issues. Welcome, Zareen. So, one simple question: how do you tailor your messages when communicating technical issues to non-scientific audiences?
That's a great question, Mr. Tikku. In fact, that is something that we have also spent a lot of time researching and understanding when we started the IGST India program. One of the simplest things that I want to raise is, first, there needs to be a desire, apart from the opinion pieces, because there you have experts contributing to those op-eds. So for instance, when last year the COP meeting happened in Azerbaijan, Baku, we had the government of India request for the floor to close the climate finance negotiations. And the Secretariat did not give India a chance to complete its interventions. Why did India need the floor? What is the NCQG? What was being discussed? In order for anybody, in my experience, to report on complicated climate or health related matters, and health being a very important issue related to climate, that what is very important and needed is that in our communication, understand the impact of what you're trying to say and communicate impact. You don't need to necessarily understand procedures of international negotiations, but what is important is to understand why is it that that negotiation is taking place, or what is the impact of that negotiation on people like you and I.
And thanks, Zareen, for saying it as it is. As one of our participants has mentioned in his remark, that nailing it actually. So that's how it is. That's probably an opportunity for the participants who are here to step into that space, ask questions why and what, and the basics of journalism. I'll move to Kishore Malviya ji. किशोर जी, हमारे यहाँ ना काफी हिंदी वाले पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं आज के डेट में. क्लाइमेट और हेल्थ, हमारे लिए क्लाइमेट और हेल्थ के ही इश्यूज नहीं है, पॉलिटिकल भी है, सोशल इश्यूज भी है. जब हम क्लाइमेट और हेल्थ की बात कर रहे हैं इंडिया में, ये पॉलिटिकल इश्यूज भी है और सोशल इश्यूज भी है. तो इस केस में जर्नलिस्ट से एक रादर व्हाट अबाउट स्टोरी टेलर्स हियर, वो ट्रस्ट कैसे बिल्ड करे और कैसे इन चीजों को अप्रोच करे जहाँ के इनका एक पर्सपेक्टिव भी आए और जस्टिस भी कर पाए.
बहुत बढ़िया सवाल पूछा. देखिए, मैं हेल्थ रिपोर्टिंग कर रहा हूँ काफी समय से. हमसे ये अक्सर सवाल पूछा जाता है कि आप तो डॉक्टर है नहीं, आप हेल्थ की बात कैसे करते हैं. तो हम उनको बताते हैं कि देखिए, हम एक फॉर्मूला फॉलो करते हैं. जैसे आपने क्लाइमेट हेल्थ की बात की है, अगर स्पोर्ट्स रिपोर्ट करना हो तो हमें स्पोर्ट्समैन बनने की जरूरत नहीं है. फिल्म और एंटरटेनमेंट रिपोर्ट करना है तो हमको एक्टर बनना जरूरी नहीं है. उसी तरह से हेल्थ रिपोर्टिंग करने के लिए हमें एक फॉर्मूला हमने जो बना हुआ है ऑलरेडी, उसको फॉलो करते हैं. और हम जो भी बताते हैं वो उनके थ्रू बताते हैं. अब क्लाइमेट जो है वो हमारे लिए एक एब्रिविएशन है, जिसका मतलब है कि C से कंपेलिंग ह्यूमन स्टोरी, L से लोकल एंड टाइमली रेलेवेंस, I से infographics and visuals, M for mobile first content, A से actionable solution, T से trusted experts और डेटा, जिसकी बात मैं अभी कर रहा था, और E से एंगेजमेंट विद ऑडियंस. इस फॉर्मूला को, क्लाइमेट के फॉर्मूला को हम फॉलो करते हैं. अभी आपने कहा कि जिस तरह से पॉलिटिक्स में या दूसरे सब्जेक्ट में इंटरेस्ट है, वैसा इंटरेस्ट आजकल नहीं है. मैं कई नेशनल चैनल में काम कर चुका हूं, और नेशनल चैनल में क्लाइमेट चेंज ये लास्ट टॉपिक होता था डिबेट का या स्टोरी का. मुझे नहीं लगता है कि किसी भी आज नेशनल चैनल में, मैं सिर्फ हिंदी चैनल की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, इंग्लिश चैनल में भी किसी रिपोर्टर को कोई बीट दी जाती है जो क्लाइमेट चेंज पर हो, या किसी को कोई असाइनमेंट दिया जाता है कि आप क्लाइमेट चेंज पे कोई स्टोरी प्लान करिए, कोई फीचर प्लान करिए, या कोई डिबेट रखिए. बिल्कुल नहीं. कुछ हुआ, कहीं कोई ग्लेशियर मेल्टिंग की बात हो गई, कहीं साइक्लोन आ गया, तो फिर उस पे सभी एक इवेंट की तरह, और वो इवेंट को ऐसे बनाते हैं कि लगता है कि जैसे वो उस इवेंट का जश्न मना रहे हो. ये हमारे यहाँ फैक्ट है. तो हम ये कोशिश करते हैं कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्लाइमेट से संबंधित जो भी स्टोरी है वो इंफॉर्मेशन ना हो, इंफॉर्मेशन की जगह वो एक पॉलिटिकल गिमिक हो जाए, और ये होता है आज. तो इसीलिए आज जो हमारा डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम है, डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म पे लोग प्रॉब्लम तो देखने सुनने नहीं आते हैं, वो तो सोल्यूशन भी चाहते हैं. तो जो हम एक्सपर्ट के माध्यम से उन्हें बता सकते हैं, पहली बात तो यह है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज ही उनको बताना होता. आपने चूंकि हिंदी की बात की, तो जो हिंदी के जो दर्शक हैं या रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस के दर्शक हैं, उनका एक तो इंटरेस्ट, दूसरा नॉलेज, क्लाइमेट चेंज के प्रति इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. ये जानते हुए कि इसके जो इम्पैक्ट हैं, इसके जो परिणाम है, बहुत भयानक है. आई बिलोंग टू बिहार. मैं देखता हूँ कि वहाँ कैसे हर साल बाढ़ आती है और लोग परेशान होते हैं, और बाढ़ के बाद जो फ्लड के बाद जो बीमारियां शुरू होती है उससे परेशान होते हैं. फिर भी वो उसमें नहीं जाते हैं, उसके रूट कॉज में नहीं जाते हैं कि ये बाढ़ हर साल क्यों आ रही है और बीमारियां क्यों फैल रही है. वो एक पॉलिटिशियन के भी लिए और जर्नलिस्ट के लिए भी एक वो पॉलिटिकल इवेंट हो जाता है. तो हम यही करते हैं कि शॉर्ट वीडियोस बनाते हैं, रील्स बनाते हैं. आप हमारा चैनल है, हम उस पर यही करते हैं. आज भी हमने एक वीडियो डाला है अपने चैनल पे रेलेवेंस को देखते हुए कि कल रक्षाबंधन है. हमने लोगों को बताया है कि अगर आप भाई से करते हैं प्यार, तो उनको आप जहरीला मिठाई मत खिलाइए, जिसमें माइक्रोप्लास्टिक्स हैं। आज भी हम इस तरह की बातें करते हैं और हम फूड एक्सपर्ट को बिठाते हैं, न्यूट्रिशन एक्सपर्ट को बिठाते हैं, डॉक्टर को बिठाते हैं। तो एक बात ध्यान देना जरूरी कि आज जो सोशल मीडिया या डिजिटल कंटेंट है वो लगभग 80% मोबाइल फोन पर देखा जाता है, तो कंटेंट उसके हिसाब से बनाए जाते हैं। क्लाइमेट चेंज पे आप शॉर्ट स्टोरीज अगर बनाना चाहें, रील बनाना चाहें, तो वो सारी बातें आप नहीं कर सकते जो आप करना चाहते हैं। तो हमें ये लिमिटेशंस को भी ध्यान में हमें ये रखना पड़ता है। बाकी जो लोकल रेलेवेंस है और उसके ग्लोबल लिंक के साथ, चाहे दिल्ली का पोल्यूशन हो या इंटायर इंडिया में लगातार बढ़ते टेम्परेचर हो, हमें ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट पैटर्न से जोड़ना होगा और उसके लिए हमें एक्सपर्ट की जरूरत पड़ती है। इसलिए आपका ये सवाल कि पॉलिटिकल के प्रति लोगों की ज्यादा इच्छा पड़ती है और ये नहीं, उसकी वजह यही है कि जब हम खुद डॉक्टर बनने लगते हैं और एनवायरमेंटल एक्सपर्ट बनने लगते हैं तो ये प्रॉब्लम होती है, एक जर्नलिस्ट बनता है, क्योंकि फिर वो हम जो कहते हैं वो कन्विंसिंग नहीं होता है। इसीलिए साइंटिफिक एविडेंस के साथ, एक्सपर्ट के साथ, कोर्ट के साथ जब हम लोगों के पास जाएंगे तो फिर नतीजा निकलेगा।
Thank you, Kishore ji, for making those important points. I'm sure they will be useful for our participants. जो हमारे साथी यहाँ पे ज्वाइन किए हुए हैं, उनके लिए इसमें काफ़ी ज़रूरी टिप्स थे जो आगे वो फॉलो कर सकते हैं। Thank you, Kishore ji. Welcome to Dr. Rajiv Chhabbar. We talked to various aspects of healthcare industry, but what is lesser talked about generally is healthcare is also emission intensive. Actually, globally 4-5% emissions तो healthcare से आते हैं. So it's never getting talked about. What is the reason for that, and what's healthcare industry doing? And more importantly, is that a opportunity for our young storytellers to step in, because mainstream media is not even touching those areas?
Yeah.
Take on that.
Yes, I completely agree. Any industry, and whether it is the healthcare industry or whether it is, the other industries that we see, even if I talk about solar industry or semiconductors or even the IT sector, everyone is in a kind party to environmental concerns, environmental hazards, environmental guzzlers, power consumers, and I would say, in fact, in health, we also add on to the waste that is kind of like generated, which is the biodegradable waste, the bio medical waste that is there, which seeps more into the system and the environment. But yes, I would also like to share that over the last 15 to 18 odd years, and this is not just because of possibly the the successive COPs that have happened or other discussions that have taken place. It is more because the industry has also thought of becoming more sustainability, because it adds to the ROI, the return on investment. I typically come from the corporate sector, although I've worked at Terry and other global places also, where we've kind of like handheld corporates to really look at how sustainability can be achieved. But that exposes a paradox for each and every one. Today, if I you try to tell that yes, 5% or plus of the emissions are the global emissions that health industry says, I would equally end up saying that, look, just for making a solar panel, the amount of energy consumed to make that solar panel can actually not be replaced by that solar panel in its entire lifetime of 25 years. So when we talk about these solar parks, or when we talk about these immensely high-end photovoltaic technologies that we have, these technologies are equally energy guzzlers before we see them as energy enablers. So let's dispel that myth out of it. But yes, the profile is changing now. The profile needs to change now. It needs to change not only towards sustainability, it also needs to change towards your return on investments that are actually done. Today, if you look at smart incinerators, these smart incinerators are not burning anything. They probably would be shredding everything and unfortunately, most of the stuff that is going into these incinerators, if I talk about today, even uh, mensal pads and other things that are coming up, these are all biodegradable stuffs. The PP kits, the other hazmat suits, or even the masks that are coming up and widely used by hospitals are biodegradable. So if I am shredding them, I do have a responsibility to give back to the to the earth. And then we we imagine that this is something which is a heap of a waste that is in front of us, but I would tell you that out of all the biomedical waste that is now being produced, and and especially in the LMIC countries, and we all are from the global south and the LMIC countries, at least 65 to 70% all of it is recyclable as compared to the developed nations, where they are still apprehensive of using all of this, and one time use is something which they believe on. At least in India, at least in the countries like the global south, we still use the sun to recycle or reuse a lot of that stuff, which can actually be reused in one or two, five instances. That's a huge saving. you know we want to look at how and from a narrative also. I mean, there's a lot of young journalists here, or there's a lot of young people who are actually audiovisual experts. Why can't we look at this narrative where we're trying to humanize the issue in healthcare? Dr. Wali started off talking about it very eloquently, and even Malviya ji was like talking about how issues are not really presented from a beat journalist. You yourself said that no one is a dedicated guy, and it's only when there is a catastrophe that happened, possibly in Uttarakhand, or a cyclone that would hit us, is when we start talking about all of this. Or if there is a global momentum on COP, and then we had someone from the US talking about how COPs have now become an important dialogue there. But have you seen the number of flights and chartered planes going into just one deliberation of COP? That's an entire year as big as a Bigfoot, that we're kind of like looking at energy guzzlers in that particular place. So yes, powerful visuals and powerful tools of communication are required to also show the right side of how this is being mitigated. And why not to expose the paradox? I would not shame in exposing the paradox. I mean, whether it is any sector, and I just gave everyone one example of the solar industry itself. It's a huge energy guzzler before that panel is made, and that panel cannot still replace the entire amount of energy or the carbon emissions done in its production in the entire 25 years of its life cycle itself. So let's try to use communication towards gratifying certain areas that can be a mitigation areas. What we could talk about is maybe we just can use the best set of tools, and digital media is the best set of tool that we're talking about these days. Storytelling over digital media, the visual data stories that can actually bridge the science and the entire public understanding around issues of environmental health, issues of climate change, issues of environmental degradation. Everything is best, and corporates these days do everything to leverage all of this, whether it is through the LinkedIn, where we try for the best B2B and professional discourse around sustainable healthcare practices, or each and every YouTube movie that we're making is actually deep diving into the expert explainers that we kind of like look at, into the success stories that can actually be replicated, and we need more and more people to join that success stories. You yourself, Rajiv ji, hold podcasts, and these podcasts and actually going to be gospels that people can actually try to imbibe in not only their personal lives, their corporate lives, and even the public life. At the end of the day, when we talk about environmental degradation, when we talk about health, when we talk about any kind of Jalvayu Parivartan, we're talking about the PPP model. And I would not shy away from saying that let's not use the public private partnership model. Let's make it more personal. Let's make it a partnership for a public purpose when we need to look at such issues on environmental sustainability. So I think there is a lot that we can really talk on. There is a lot that even healthcare providers like us can keep the environmental degradation at bay, the environmental health concerns to be really the talk of the town. We had two speakers talking about it. They really meant the real time impact that is happening. So yes, I would say, we are at an intersection of climate change, health, and digital, or as well as outbursts of communication, and a structured response towards such thing would be more prudent rather than a kind of haywire and a non-cohesive response mechanism that everyone is doing in silos.
Raju, thanks a lot for making those important points and highlighting the nuances of this sector, and also about solar and rated areas. Probably those are some kind of story ideas also going forward for our storytellers. Thanks a lot for making those points. I also understand that some of the speakers may have tighter deadlines today. So before going into a second round of questions, I would rather invite questions from our participants, because that's why we're here actually. Storytelling is not only one-sided, it's a two-sided kind of a thing, as you said. So questions for the panelists from the participants?
Yes, we are. The first one is for you, Dr. Wali. And the question is, how do we convince youngsters in a time when smoking and drinking is the culture? Fear of health is the least of youth concern.
I said a very important statement. Every youth knows what is health, what is bad food, what is good food, what is sleeping time, how much screen time one should have. They Google and find out more than us. They are well informed. That is the beauty of our youth, that they are well informed. The problem is, like I said, I want to do exercise, but when to do it is important. मैं एक बहुत गाँव वाला एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. 3rd क्लास का डिब्बा स्टेशन पे छुट्टी हो रही है, लोग घर जा रहे हैं, खचाखच पड़ा हुआ है 3rd क्लास कंपार्टमेंट, और बिल्कुल पैर रखने की, जिसको कहते हैं ना, तिल रखने की जगह नहीं है. अंदर जो आदमी बैठा हुआ है उसका रूममेट आया और वो प्लेटफॉर्म पे खड़ा है, तो वो खिड़की से उसको अंदर बुलाता है, वो उसको अंदर पहले खड़ा करता है, फिर जब गाड़ी चलती है थोड़ी आगे तो उसकी जगह हो जाती है और वो अपने घर तक पहुंचता है. ऐसे ही हमारी जिंदगी में इन अच्छी चीजों की जगह दिखाई नहीं देती, लेकिन हमको उसको कंपल्सरी एंट्री देनी है और उसको फॉलो करना है. नहीं तो देखिए क्या हो रहा है ना, अभी जस्ट नाउ देयर इज अ बॉय इन माय क्लिनिक हु हैड अ हार्ट अटैक एट 27 and whose arteries were blocked. I have medically treated him and he improved and he is going back with a normal echocardiogram. I can show him, I can call him and I can ask him. He did not do anything bad to him, but without doing all these things like smoking, eating junk food and increasing weight so much, this is happening. Even those people who are maintaining normal profile, they are exposed to danger of sudden deaths. So we have to be very, very careful. See, very, very careful. This culture of work from home, then we have to do exercise. If you have right to do work from home, which was never heard in our time, then also you are supposed to do compensatory exercise. So one day I went to T Hazari Court and I was going for an expert witness. आफ्टर 14th चेंबर, 14वें चेंबर के बाद 15वें चेंबर पे नेम प्लेट पे मेल जज का नाम दिखा. तो ये आप लोग जो कर रही हो, तो ये लड़के नहीं कर रहे हैं, इनको करना पड़ेगा. आपने सवाल उनकी तरफ से पूछा है, मैं उनको कह रहा हूं कि मेरे बच्चों, आप अच्छा काम वो करो जो आपके पेरेंट्स ने किया है, आप वो करो जो आपके लिए अच्छा है और आप जानते हो, आप उसको जानते हैं कि वो अच्छा है. मैं बच्चों से ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि यू आर फुल ऑफ एनर्जी, यू आर फुल ऑफ, जिसको कहते हैं ना, एस्टीम, यू आर फुल ऑफ कैपेसिटी टू डू एनीथिंग. आप पहाड़ का पत्थर उठा के ला सकते हैं ऊपर चढ़ के, भाग के जाके. आपको अपनी ताकत को, शक्ति को, अपनी एनर्जी को, अपनी अच्छाई को पहचानना पड़ेगा. वी डोंट वांट स्मोक्ड बॉयज, we want non-smoke boys. So ऐसा है, ऐसा है, ऐसा होना है. नहीं तो इस देश का जो कल का भारत है उसके बच्चे अनहेल्दी हो जाएंगे। और अभी तो आने लगे ना आर्टिकल्स, मैं जब पढ़ता था कोई आर्टिकल नहीं आया लैंसेट में हिंदुस्तान के 50% लोग अनहेल्दी हैं। हिम्मत कैसे हुई लैंसेट की ये लिखने की? क्यों? क्योंकि ये सच्चाई है। यू कैन नॉट कॉन्टेस्ट लैंसेट्स ऑब्जर्वेशन बिकॉज इट इज ट्रुथ। बड़ा मुझे ह्यूमिलिएटिंग लगा जब सेम डे आई हैड टू गिव ए मीडिया टॉक ऑन 3 मीडिया चैनल्स कि मैं अपने देश के लोगों को ये कह रहा हूं कि वो WHO के हेल्थ स्टैंडर्ड को कंफर्म नहीं करें। तो आपका सवाल बड़ा जायज है, हमें सब में सामर्थ्य है ये सब कहना मानने की, हमको वो करना पड़ेगा।
I think the other one is also for him. Or if rising temperatures alter the air we breathe, shifting seasons change the food we eat, and extreme weather disrupts the water we drink, how might these invisible forces of climate change be silently shaping our health today? And what sustainable choices can we make now to protect both our well-being and the planet for generations to come?
Who's asking this question?
This is T. Stuff Bhav, sir.
वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन। मैं जब दिल्ली आया था मेरे घर में अच्छी लोकेलिटी में घर था, एक कूलर में लग्जरी लगती थी, फिर वो कूलर एसी में बदला। अब मेरे घर में 5 एसी हैं, तो हम एक कमरे को ठंडा कर रहे हैं और बाहर के वातावरण को गर्म कर रहे हैं। एक आदमी 2 आदमी को ठंडक जो एसी पहुंचा रहा है वो 10 आदमियों के लिए गर्म हवा फेंक रहा है। हमें थोड़ा सा सेक्रीफाइस करना पड़ेगा। खाने का तो आपको बताया ना मैंने, ईट हेल्दी। हाँ, और पानी का टेम्परेचर का आपने कहा ना, तो टेम्परेचर के हमारे अंदर बर्दाश्त करने की शक्ति खत्म होती जा रही है धीरे धीरे, जैसे जैसे हम एसी जैसी चीजों से यूज्ड होते जा रहे हैं। ठीक है ना, ये बात सब एग्री करेंगे, ये सच्चाई है। तो हमें थोड़ा सा अपने को थोड़ा सा रफ टफ बनाना है, और यंग पीपल कैन टॉलरेट एवरीथिंग, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। अभी भी जिनके घरों में जनरेटर नहीं है, इन्वर्टर नहीं है, बिजली भाग जाती है, तो कोई सडन डेथ नहीं होती, कोई सब जिंदा रहते हैं। ठीक है, तो हमको एडेप्टेबिलिटी है ना एक वर्ड आपके यहाँ, तो एडेप्टेशन करना चाहिए। और देखिए ये हर साल ओजोन लेयर डिप्लीट हो रही है, टेम्परेचर बढ़ रहा है, ग्लेशियर्स पिघल रहे हैं। मैंने बात ही शुरू की थी उत्तराखंड के हादसे थे, और ये ऐसी आपदाएं आती रहेंगी। तो हमको बहुत काम करना है। सबसे पहले अपनी लाइफ को सिंपल करना है। देखिए मैंने बताया था इसका जवाब कि हमको सबसे पहले अच्छा बनना है। एक अच्छे आदमी जो होता है उसको गर्मी की शिकायत नहीं करता, वो सर्दी की शिकायत नहीं करता, वो दूसरों के लिए भी अच्छा करता है। और अच्छे गुण जो हमारे ऋषियों मुनियों के गुण थे उसका 1% नॉट 100% उनको अडेप्ट कीजिए। सादा खाना खाइए, समय से सोइए। जो लोग सुबह उठ के अपना काम शुरू करेंगे तो धूप तो 12 बजे 11 बजे तेज होती है, जल्दी सोएंगे आपको जल्दी नींद आ जाएगी। तो ये सब चीजें हमको अपना, जो हम कहते हैं ना दिनचर्या, वो हो गई है रात्रिचर्या। हम रात को जागते हैं, दिन में सोते हैं मोस्ट ऑफ अस, तो ये गड़बड़ हो रहा है, तो इसको सुधारना पड़ेगा। देखिए इन सब के आंसर्स जो आपके मन में क्वेश्चंस हैं बहुत सिंपल हैं। और मैं I have 4 young children in my house and they keep asking me these things. मैं उनको कहता हूँ लाइट बुझाओ, बाथरूम से आने के बाद वो लाइट जली हुई है 4 घंटे। मैं उनसे कहता हूँ कमरा जब निकलो बंद करो, एसी ज्यादा चलेगा अगर आप ठीक से कमरा बंद नहीं करेंगे। मैं उनसे कहता हूँ फौरन अपना जो भी सामान है, साबुन है, उसको भी बचाओ, सूखी जगह रखो नहाने के बाद। तो ये हर घर में होता है कि साबुन गीला हो रहा है, और किचन में तो खूब घुलता है वो बर्तन धोने वाला साबुन हर किचन में, मैंने देखा है। तो ये खराब कर रहे हैं अपने एटमॉस्फेयर को, स्ट्रेटोस्फेयर को, बायोस्फीयर को। सस्टेनेबिलिटी में ये सब चीजें आती हैं कि हम अपनी हर चीज को सदुपयोग करें, उसकी लॉन्गिविटी को बढ़ाएं, और मिनिमम हम संसाधन इस्तेमाल करें अपने सुख के लिए। आई डोंट यूज द वर्ड विलासिता के लिए, बट सुख के लिए, बेसिक। अब मैं इस कमरे में बैठा हूं तो एक एसी चल रहा है, ठीक है, उसको मैं 26 पे रखूंगा तो कम रन होगा, अगर 18 पे रखूंगा तो ज्यादा रन होगा। तो ऐसे हम एनर्जी भी सेव कर रहे हैं और कम सर्दी में, कम ठंडे कमरे में भी रह रहे हैं। तो ये सब आपको अपनी हैबिट्स को रिफॉर्म करना होगा। आई वुड नॉट से सुधारना होगा, जस्ट रिफॉर्म your habits and you will be the best individual in the world.
Thank you so much for that. I hope that answers your question. So now we have question for Media act as the communication bridge, but as far as health communication is concerned, health related issues is given less health prominence. So how we budding journalists contribute to health related issues? So
Who's asking this? Who's asking this?
it is Tanveer. Media act as the communication bridge, but as far as health communication is concerned, health related issues is given less prominence. So, how, as we budding journalists, contribute to health related issues?
तो ये हो रहा कि किशोर जी जो बात हुआ था कि हेल्थ को कम प्रायोरिटी मिलती है मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया में, और तनवीर जी शायद मीडिया से ही है, तो वो जानना चाहते हैं कि जर्नलिस्ट अपने लेवल पे क्या कर सकता है।
देखिए, क्योंकि तनवीर जी मीडिया से हैं तो उनको बहुत सारी बातें पता है। मैं भी अपने स्टूडेंट्स को अपने यूनिवर्सिटी में मीडिया स्टडीज में बताता हूँ ये कि जो हमारे यहाँ बीट सिस्टम है, वो बीट सिस्टम एरिया वाइज होता है, सब्जेक्ट वाइज होता है। जैसे हेल्थ आपने बताया, हेल्थ रिपोर्टिंग होती है। आपने जो क्लाइमेट हेल्थ की बात की है, अब आप देखिए इसमें मैं अभी यही सोच रहा था कि हमारे यहाँ क्लाइमेट हेल्थ नाम का कोई बीट नहीं है। क्लाइमेट अलग बीट है जो अलग रिपोर्टर करता है, हेल्थ अलग बीट है जो अलग रिपोर्टर करता है। दोनों के बीच ना कोई कोऑर्डिनेशन है और दोनों में एक दूसरे के लिए कोई जगह नहीं है। क्लाइमेट बीट के लोग हेल्थ की बात नहीं करते हैं, हेल्थ बीट के लोग क्लाइमेट की बात नहीं करते हैं। अब इनका जो क्वेश्चन है कि हेल्थ कम्युनिकेशन में क्यों नहीं ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस दिया जाता है, उसकी वजह बहुत हद तक हमारे व्यूअर्स भी हैं। तो सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जो जर्नलिस्ट हैं, जैसा कि पहले भी सवाल उठा था कि आप अगर हेल्थ रिपोर्टिंग करते हैं तो आप अच्छे से पहले रिसर्च करिए, साइंटिफिक एविडेंस के साथ आप तथ्यों को, चीजों को रखिए, सामने वाले को कन्विंस करिए, ज्ञान मत दीजिए। आप उनको बताइए कि जो चीज आप बता रहे हैं उससे उनको क्या फायदा होने वाला है और जो कर रहे हैं उससे उनको क्या नुकसान होने वाला है। तो ये नहीं होता है। इसलिए नहीं होता है क्योंकि आज हम इवेंट बेस्ड जर्नलिज्म करते हैं। हेल्थ में कोई कॉन्फ्रेंस हुआ तो उसको कवर करते हैं, हेल्थ रिलेटेड कोई डिजास्टर, कोई इंसिडेंट हुआ तो हम उसको कवर करते हैं। आप एडिट पेज पे हेल्थ के कितने आर्टिकल्स पाते हैं, चाहे इंग्लिश हो या हिंदी, कितने आर्टिकल्स पाते हैं? बहुत कम। हेल्थ पे नहीं मिलेगा। न्यूज 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 न्यूज, करंट अफेयर्स, पॉलिटिक्स। तो इस पे सोचना होगा। मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को भी बताता हूँ कि स्पेशलाइज्ड फील्ड पे काम करना होगा, चाहे वो स्पोर्ट्स हो, चाहे वो एंटरटेनमेंट हो, चाहे वो हेल्थ हो, चाहे वो साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी हो, चाहे वो एनवायरनमेंट हो, उस पर काम करना होगा और उसकी अलग से तैयारी करनी पड़ेगी और ये मीडिया वाले को ही करना होगा। थैंक यू
Kishore ji. There's a question from Kostov Mehdi. There in Osho. Yet how can we balance all three aspects, health, climate and environment and development, without compromising the modern demands of the people and economy? This is from Kostov Mehdi.
Thank you. Thank you, Costa, for your question. I don't see you, but thanks. So there are a couple of things that I want to bring about, especially also I just saw that Arka Mukhopadhyay had also sent a question in the chat about food stalls, for instance. There are some things that you can do at an individual level, and then there are some things that have to be done by the government at the national or the state level or the city level. अभी हमारे यहाँ पे एक प्रॉब्लम है, and this was a concept conceived by corporates, जहाँ पे owners of responsibility on climate action इंडिविजुअल्स पे पास कर दिया गया था, वेयर इट वाज सेड आप पानी नहीं बचा रहे हो, सो यू आर रॉन्ग, यू आर द वंस दैट आर कॉजिंग क्लाइमेट चेंज। अगर आप प्लास्टिक यूज कर रहे हो तो आपकी गलती है, यू आर द रीजन फॉर क्लाइमेट चेंज। ये एक बहुत बड़ा कॉर्पोरेट कम्युनिकेशन प्लान था, where the onus of responsibility has shifted from the corporates over to individuals, जहाँ पे हाउस होल्ड लेवल पे जाके आपको बोला जाता था वो डोंट यूज प्लास्टिक, बैड, बिकॉज यू आर द वंस कॉजिंग क्लाइमेट चेंज, विदाउट हैविंग एनी रिकग्निशन कि कॉर्पोरेट ने क्या किया बेसिकली। एंड बिलियंस एंड बिलियंस एंड बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स हैव बीन poured into this massive communication strategy globally by multinational corporations from all over the world. And a very good book on this that talks about how climate change communication was started and how they draw parallels is a book on tobacco lobby. How tobacco lobby used communications to strategically place the onus of burden on individuals rather than tobacco making companies or companies that promoted tobacco use. So the question then is, does this mean that individual level pe action nahi hona chahiye? Absolutely not. Individuals should act. But I want to talk about, to the point that Costa was asking about, how do you create a holistic manner in which the countries like India, where we have aspirations, we're a growing country, there are demands, how do countries like ours expand, but at the same time, we're able to do it in a manner that is sustainable? Firstly, that power is not with individuals, it is with governments. So at some point, आपकी गवर्नमेंट को सोचना पड़ेगा कि ट्रेड ऑफ क्या है, कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस किया जाता है पॉलिसी मेकिंग में. सो एट सम पॉइंट, if you want a very sustainable society, it needs to come from the people. We should be moving away from coal as a base to gas. We have not been able to do that, and despite that, we are making investments in the coal sector. So there are questions to ask. You and I can't do very much, but what we can do is to make sure that we become a very strong voter hold to ask the government and hold the government accountable. Amendments to the Environment Protection Act were also not reported by Indian media. So I think with that, I'm going to stop. Thank you.
It's very helpful to know that there are issues which never get even attention from mainstream media for whatever reason. So probably those are areas wherever potential storytellers can look into. Thanks.
Rajiv, there's one question for Zareen as from Tanveer. He has been waiting. Whenever I talk about covering climate change and the health beat, they always say it has no future. I've just started my journalism career, so how can I convince my editor that climate stories are still relevant? Also, which type of media, print, digital or television, is best covering the health beat? Because she mentioned about journalism, it's for her.
Thank you for that. My very simple take on this is, define your audience. Who is your audience? First, if your audience is the younger generation, I would recommend going to social media and podcasts, because the younger generation it has an attention deficit problem. The Gen Z problems we are all aware of. They do not have the time, they do not have the mood, they do not have the attention span to sit and read things which the older generations were at one point. If you are interested in something that is not mainstream yet, make it mainstream. How do you make it mainstream? You go by identifying what your audience is. What is the age profile of your audience? If you're looking at younger folk and people who do not have that much time, young professionals, for instance, podcasting is really, really important because it allows you to connect with people on media channels like LinkedIn. LinkedIn now has reels like Instagram does. YouTube Shorts are again another platform for engagement. So how do you put in snippets that are of the most value on platforms that allow for a wider variety of audience to watch it in a language that is the most appropriate for that region? I think that would be my answer. Make it interesting.
Thank you for that, Tanveer. I hope that answers your question.
I have a quick question for Urvashi ji. Urvashi ji, Testa Bhavsar ji ka sawal hai. She says, in a world where we have advanced technologies like smartphones and digital platforms, how can we effectively spread awareness about sustainability and climate change amongst illiterate and differently abled communities, especially through inclusive storytelling methods that they can understand?
Yeah, I mean, I think the content, no matter which channel we are putting it out through, it has to be contextualized, it has to be targeted at that particular audience. So whether it's in terms of language, whether it's in terms of using imagery or even voice. So I think there's a lot of creative content that is available also, and there are many creators who can create such content, but we need to be sensitive of the fact that we have so much diversity, so whether it's people with disabilities, whether it's even women we have still so much gender disparity in access to digital tools and platforms. So whether it is gender, whether it is marginalized communities, whether it is people with disabilities, for everybody, even senior citizens, right? They would also possibly have different kinds of requirements, in terms of content. So I think it's not that we don't have the ability, but we should have the will to create, and we should be sensitive to the needs of different groups across the country, because obviously we are about as heterogeneous a country as is possible. So I think that's something that we need to do across the board, not just in this particular type of communication, but any type of communication, really.
In fact, Rajiv ji, can I add on to this what Urvashi ji just said, and I completely agree with her. In countries like ours, and when we're talking about the global south or LMIC countries or countries like as vivid and as India, localized and culturally relevant stories is something very, very important. If you would want to add, a lot of this, today, if you look at even at the smaller villages, they look at the community health workers or their peer educators as trust factors. When we look at public health or when we look at public health communication, that's something which is very, very strong in terms of which resonates in the community. So the local storytellers from these community health areas or workers or peer educators, that is something which is more relatable, entertaining, and informative. And now, thanks to social media and thanks to the reach that everyone actually has, even disabled communities is something that they can actually use audio visual content over text. The voice based story methodologies that are being used, possibly for someone who can't speak, maybe it is illustrations or animations that can be added to it. Your short platforms like Facebook and WhatsApps and technically TikToks and others, these are something that can actually talk a lot when people do not have the luxury of really going down a literature yardstick. So leveraging all this is then, and the greatest thing that we can actually now have is community radio, which is now reaching everywhere. FMs were only 3 to 4 channels. Today every state has an FM channel, every state capital has an FM channel, to the extent that even higher communities in hilly areas have their own radio and podcast channels which are available. It can be only sustained when there is public as well as political will to really take it over.
That really adds value to it. We come to the close of the session. I'll request Dr. Wali, if you're still there, to make the last closing remarks, sir.
So in Indian cities, we can see that food is being sold in uncovered stalls beside our roads, and the dirt and pollutants from the vehicles contaminate our food.
Bacteria.
Student of food science, I can convince the people to eat safe food, and how can I convince the vendors to sell contaminant-free food for better health? What sustainable measures can we take to overcome this? This is from Arka Mukhopadhyay.
First thing is don't eat outside. If it is not possible, if suppose I ate a bada pav once I was in Bombay. I was with the former Prime Minister, but I had not enough money to go to a big hotel in Mumbai. So I ate roadside bada pav. The mannerisms of that people are very professional. I am giving a statement for all of you. They keep hygiene, they add correct components, and they throw away what is left over. So if that kind of culture is there in a roadside seller of food, most welcome. But if you eat momos in Lajpat Nagar, you do not eat which meat they are using. There was a scandal reported very recently. I would not go into detail of that. So choice of the right place rests with you. और जनाब सादा खाना और समय से खाना, तो ये ढाबे वाबे में खाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. मैं आपको सही कह रहा हूँ. ये हम सब चटोरे हो गए हैं। चटोरे होने की वजह से हमको बाहर का खाना अच्छा लगने लगा। ये सच्चाई है हर घर की। आज बच्चे माँ के हाथ का बनाया हुआ खाना नहीं खा रहे हैं। जिस वक्त खाना होता है वो मूवी देख रहे होते हैं नेट पे, वो नेटफ्लिक्स देख रहे होते हैं। माँ थक जाती है बुला बुला के डाइनिंग टेबल पे, बच्चे नहीं आते हैं। फिर वो रात को 2 बजे क्लाउड किचन से खाना मंगाते हैं। विच फूड सेलर्स हैव टू बी एजुकेटेड। एक 5 स्टार होटल में जब एक बंदा प्लेट धोता है तो उसके नीचे जो नीचे रखने से वो चीज लगती है, बैक्टीरिया, डर्ट, फिल्थ, which is in a washed plate goes to the bottom. When this plate is kept on another plate which is already washed, then this gets transferred to the healthy plate, washed plate. These manners are never taught in a hotel, how to keep the washed plate. That is why in house you see the plate stands are vertical. Very fine point. So आपको hygiene starts from me. If I am hygienic, I will never go towards a place which is unhygienic. So ये बड़ा simple है. Time is shooting, overshooting. I know that. But what I wanted to convey for Tikku Saab next time, our health system is also getting sick. And I have read one phrase, what was once a deeply human ecosystem driven by values of service and sacrifice has become a मार्केट प्लेस और एक ग्लोबल स्प्रेडशीट। हमारे हेल्थ सिस्टम जो बीमार हो गया है उसको भी ठीक करना पड़ेगा हमें। विद फोल्डेड हैंड्स आई एम गिविंग दिस स्टेटमेंट एंड आई विश ऑल यंग पीपल हु आर अराउंड, दे आर वेरी एंथुसियास्टिक, दे नो एवरीथिंग एंड दे शुड प्रैक्टिस व्हाट दे नो एंड आई विश देम सक्सेस, आई विश देम अ गुड फ्यूचर एंड आई एम वेरी होपफुल दैट वी आर हेडिंग टुवर्ड्स अ ब्राइटर इंडिया। थोड़ा सा संभल के चलना है। अभी आने वाले 25 साल 20 साल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं और थोड़ा सा अपनी वैल्यूज को याद रखना है, पुरानी वैल्यूज को याद रखना है जिसमें हम हॉस्पिटल जाते ही नहीं थे। देयर आर पेशेंट्स हु कम एट द एज ऑफ 90 एंड से दैट आई हैव नेवर बीन टू हॉस्पिटल। सो व्हाट दे वर डूइंग, देन आई आस्क देम क्या करते हो। एक 90 इयर्स का पर्सन आया और उसने मुझे अपनी एंजियोग्राफी दिखाई कल और उसकी ये इस टाइप की एंजियोग्राफी दिखाई, नॉर्मल थी। 90 years. My father had a normal angiogram at the age of 94. तो अभी भी सडन कार्डियक डेथ्स अवॉइड हो सकती हैं, अभी भी हम हेल्दी लिविंग कर सकते हैं। थोड़ा व्यायाम तो करके देखिए, थोड़ा सादा खाना तो खा के देखिए, थोड़ा समय से सो के तो देखिए, थोड़ा माँ बाप का कहना मान के तो देखिए, थोड़ा स्मोकिंग छोड़िए, जंक फूड छोड़िए, अल्कोहल छोड़िए, सोफासन छोड़िए। मैं सोफासन उसको कहता हूँ जो लेटे हुए हैं, रिमोट रखा है, बियर की बोतल रखी है बगल में, पिज्जा रखा हुआ है, उठने की जरूरत ही नहीं। सोफासन है ये। इस सोफासन को छोड़ के योगासन कीजिए। मेरे जवानों, मेरे बच्चों, तुम कल का भारत हो। प्लीज बी इंस्पायर्ड बाय these filthy dialogues which I am uttering in front of you. These are not filthy dialogues. These are the ideals of life. तो एक बहुत छोटे से घर से निकल के राष्ट्रपति भवन तक पहुंचा हूं। मैंने वो जिंदगी भी देखी है और मैंने वो जिंदगी भी देखी है। तो मैं कह सकता हूं, मुझे ये अधिकार है कहने का। मैं थक के अब 8:30 बजे जाके 1 घंटा एक्सरसाइज करूंगा। आई रिजर्व द राइट टू टेल यू टू डू एक्सरसाइज डिस्पाइट यू आर बिजी। बहुत जरूरी है हेल्थ के लिए, ये सस्टेनेबिलिटी के लिए हमारा सबसे पहले ठीक होना बहुत जरूरी है। राष्ट्र अपना ठीक हो जाएगा।
Thank you, Dr. Bali. Those very inspiring words, and I'm sure I'm really grateful to you and to all our participants there.